Hello and welcome to part 2 of the end-to-end use case of building a stock sentiment classifier. My name is Leo and I'm a data scientist at Kern. And today in this video we are going to take a dataset that we have created in a previous video, and we are going to use this dataset to create a machine learning model using the Kern automl-docker tool. Next up, we're going to containerize this model with Docker and then connect this container with a user interface. We are then going to try out this model with fresh news headlines about stocks. Let's get going. First, we are going to our Refinery sample projects page, and here we have prepared a variation of very cool and interesting use cases for you. We are interested in the sentiment analysis stock news branch, and we are going to clone this specific branch to our computers now. For that, click on Code and copy this code snippet here. Head over to a terminal of your choice and type in git clone -b, and now we need to write down the name of the specific branch that we want to clone to our computer, and the name of the branch is sentiment-analysis -stock-news, and after that we paste in the code snippet we just copied. Hit enter, and now after a couple of seconds the specific branch of the sample projects folder will be copied to our computer. Great. To quickly and easily create a machine learning model, we are going to use automl-docker. We have already created a full tutorial on how to use automl-docker, so we're going to keep it relatively short and simple here. To use automl-docker, you first need to clone this repository. As previously, click on Code and copy this snippet. Back in the terminal, you can simply type in git clone, and we are interested in getting a specific branch, and we're going to use the automl-pytorch branch. Now, if this branch doesn't exist anymore when you are watching this video, don't worry, you can then just clone the main repository or the main branch. Paste in the code, and I already have this repository on my computer, but for you it should just download normally. Now we are going to switch into this folder of automl-docker, and now we are going to create a machine learning model with automl-docker. For that, simply type in Python 3 ml/create _model.py and hit enter. Simply paste in the path where the data set we have just created is stored. Next up, we need to specify some columns where our features are in, and after that we also need to specify a column where the labels are in. Can simply copy paste that in here, and we also need to pre-process our data, and we are going to do this with a special Hugging Face model. The link for all of this will be, of course, in the description below. Now you don't need to do anything more, and automl-docker will take care of everything and pre-process the data and create a cool and fancy machine learning model for you. And because this might take a couple of minutes, I'm going to skip this part now and see you again once everything is built. All right, the automl-docker tool is now finished up, and next up we're going to pack everything up in a container, and for that all we need to write down is bash start _container and hit enter. And now everything that automl-docker has built is going to get packed up in a usable Docker container. Again, this might take a couple of minutes, so I'm going to get back to you once everything is finished up. Once the containerization is completed, your terminal will probably look a bit like this. Using the Docker container in it by itself would be possible, but it wouldn't make for a very nice user experience. This is why we have built a small and very simple user interface that you can use in your browser. And in here we can either type in the name of a stock ticker and then get the stock news and the sentiment, whether it is positive, neutral, or negative. And we can also upload a CSV file from here and get basically the same output. So you can either use this window here, or you can scrape your own news headlines from different websites and then upload them here, so that you are not restricted by the sources that we are using for this interface. Let's quickly go through the code of how everything is set up. Back in the Refinery sample projects folder, we have a file called app.py, and in here we are using a library called streamlit to build everything you just saw previously. So what is happening here? Basically, if we are providing a ticker name in the window or in the box right here, if that is filled, we are going to scrape some news for the specific ticker. Then we are going to load in the machine learning model we have previously built using automl-docker. And we get the predicted labels or the sentiment. And we also get a confidence on how sure our machine learning model is that the label is of a certain sentiment. We are then displaying everything in a pandas data frame. And the same is done for uploaded CSV files, with the exception that the CSV file is first loaded in and then our machine learning model is calculating the predicted sentiments. And that's it. Now you could modify this user interface however you'd like. For example, you could add a open, high, low, close chart to see how a stock price is performing. Or you could add drop-down menus to easily select companies. Feel free to modify this user interface however you'd like. What we are interested in doing now, however, is seeing how the machine learning model we have created with automl-docker is performing on unseen and new stock news headlines. And to try that out, I'm going to take a look at the recent stock news for the company Intel. And the ticker for Intel is INTC. And hit enter to apply. And we get a data frame with the 10 latest stock news for the company, and the sentiment, and the confidence of our model for that sentiment. You can also make this a little bit larger. Let's go through this headline to see how our model is performing. The first headline is stating that the rush to build more chips put environmental progress in peril. And I would agree, yes, this sentiment is rather negative. The next headline is about what AMD's earning report is saying about Intel. And yeah, the earning report is not saying that much about Intel, at least not that we can see anything from the headline. So I would also classify this as neutral. We also don't know if the earnings report from AMD is positive or negative. The next headline is not about Intel, but about the company Meta. And Meta makes a bond market debut with 10 billion. And I would say this is a rather good thing. Even though it's not about Intel, it is a good thing for Meta. And our classifier correctly stated that this sentiment here is positive. However, our model is not perfect. Further down below, we have a headline stating Beer of the Day, Intel. And our model is stating that this is positive. If you are familiar with stock terminology, you will know that a beer is something bad in the stock market. And so if our classifier would be perfect, it would have given the sentiment negative here. So you can see that our model is good, but it's not perfect. What you could do now is go back to the Kern Refinery and further optimize the data we have, or maybe enrich it with more stock news headlines. What you also could do is take this user interface we have here and add more features, for example, stock charts or drop-down lists, and really make this a wonderful stock news dashboard. So you see that there are many more things you can do. However, we're going to wrap this video up for now. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them down in the comments below. If you'd like this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you loved this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you won't miss out on any cool data science videos from us. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and goodbye.